Hello, everyone, and welcome to this Langer at the Mic live Cowboys postgame show. The Dallas Cowboys just absolutely dominate and throttle and burn, destroy, crush the Philadelphia Eagles. 41-21, first 40 burger of the season. I'm jacked up, honestly. I am wired right now. I am really tired, but I am wired because when was the last when was the most satisfying the most recent satisfying dominant win the Cowboys had? I think it was honestly 2019 against the Eagles in like that week 6 Sunday night football game where the Cowboys won like 38-10 or something. Well, tonight 41-21 is the final. Cowboys absolutely just crushed the Eagles, and Nick Sirianni, you can take your beat Dallas t-shirts and throw them in the trash where your team belongs. You know, you can take your 5 core value principle, whatever stuff, get that out of here, and just, yeah, Eagles fans, hate us more, hate the Cowboys more, but also maybe hate your team a little bit too because it sucks. But yeah, this ain't about the Eagles. Let's talk about how awesome the Dallas Cowboys played tonight. This game could have been easily 27 or 21-7 early because the Cowboys, like, where do we start here? Let's start with the offense. Let's start with the offense because the Cowboys in the first half just moved the ball at will against the Eagles defense. And I expected them to do so because of obviously Dak, but also because of their running game, which went over 150 yards against the Chargers last week. Tonight, Cowboys had 160 yards on the ground, 220 through the air. What were Zeke and Tony Pollard's carries? Well, Zeke carried 17 times for 95, 2 touchdowns. Tony Pollard, 11 for 60, both at around a 5.5 average. Zeke at a 5.6 average. And aside from Fletcher Cox and Javon Hargrave getting the best of Tyler Biotish and Connor Williams took a handful of holding penalties. Tyler Biotish just got blown off the ball several times. But the Cowboys just willed their way against the Eagles offensively and defensively. Well, let's talk about the offense first. Dak, first game back at AT&T Stadium. First, the home opener at AT&T Stadium on Monday Night Football. Roof open, windows open, doors open, 90+ thousand fans in attendance. Honestly, I was confident in the Cowboys' ability to win this game, but with what they're missing on defense, we'll get to the defense a little bit because we could talk forever about the defense. But let's finish about the offense first. Again, Dak tonight, 21 for 26, 238 yards, 3 passing touchdowns. Did take 4 sacks. Did have 9 rushes for only 6 yards. Some of them were pretty scary, given that this was his first game back at AT&T Stadium since that devastating ankle injury against the Giants. So some of those rushes were kind of heart attack inducing, but Dak kept it together, and obviously really emotional on the sidelines at the anthems with tears streaming down his face. And then the pregame interview also talking about his battle with mental health and it being okay to not be okay. Just honestly, I find Dak's greatness, like Dak, kind of like last week. Dak was great in week 1. Dak drove the bus last week, and I would say he kind of drove the bus again this week, but when he had to make the throws and make the plays that he had to make, he did. Like that third down pass to Cedric Wilson, 4th and goal pass to Cedric Wilson to basically put the game on ice, to put the Cowboys over 40. By the way, love the call to go for it on 4th down there. Put the game away, make it 40, and just put the game away. And that was actually the one that made it 34. And then there was the one to Dalton Schultz, of course. I mean, that's also Dalton Schultz great run after the catch. Dalton Schultz is also underrated as a tight end right now. But yeah, just the offense. Also, Cedric Wilson had a very underrated game today. And in terms of the receivers, Amari Cooper with the cracked ribs, obviously, not as much of a factor. 3 catches, 26 yards. CeeDee Lamb had the big play on the opening drive, 42-yard catch. He finished 3 receptions, 66 yards. And then Dalton Schultz had the 6 receptions, 80 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, this was a balanced passing attack and a balanced rushing attack for the Dallas Cowboys tonight. And it got the job done on offense. But yeah, besides Javon Hargrave and Fletcher Cox, like, yeah, just the Cowboys just were dominant. And then, I mean, look, obviously there's the 4th down call early in the game where the Cowboys it was Zeke caught essentially a touchdown pass initially, but he got ruled down just shy of the 1-yard line. And the Eagles made a great goal line stand initially, or was called on the field, and the call stood. But there was some sort of replay evidence of Dak stretching with the ball across the goal line. And logic would say that the ball did cross the plane. But honestly, I don't hate the official decision to keep that to keep the call of no touchdown and turnover on downs. I'm okay with that. But at the end but also I feel like the initial call maybe should have been touchdown. But anyway, didn't matter in the game because the Cowboys overcame it. Also, don't forget about the little boo-boo at the beginning with Dak taking the getting stripped by Javon Hargrave and Fletcher Cox, obviously intercepting it or recovering the fumble interception in the end zone for the Eagles' lone touchdown of the first half. But yeah, Ezekiel Elliott, who I've criticized quite a bit over this last year and a half, since 2019, really, since he signed the contract. He played with a little something extra tonight. He ran the ball with anger tonight. He just he was fighting for extra yards, just trying to bull through every Eagle that stood in his way. And that's how he had 17 rushes for 95 yards. Again, no plays over 20, no runs over 20, not like the guys in Cleveland there, Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, or Derrick Henry, the guy in Tennessee, or Dalvin Cook. But Zeke got the job done on the ground tonight. And in terms of the offense, again, great mix between Zeke and Tony Pollard. Just saying if there's anything else I want to go to. Love Dak's hard count. Starting to work right now. Kind of like Aaron Rodgers-esque. Also, that throw he made to Cedric Wilson of him scrambling left in his own end zone in the third quarter. Cedric Wilson made a phenomenal catch, but let's not forget that throw by Dak was Patrick Mahomes-esque. Just should have been more than just 20-7 at halftime, honestly. There are a couple of boo-boos. There's also the missed snap from Tyler Biadasz where Dak was under center and took a hit to the head also when he went to recover it. But there was also a great pass by Dak sliding to his left and finding CeeDee Lamb for a big play where he slid away from Montez Sweat and hit CeeDee Lamb with a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. Or now Cedric Wilson before, but still, just great play. And Dalton Schultz, man, again, he is underrated. I think it's safe to say that he is tight end 1 over Blake Jarwin, although Blake Jarwin, I feel like, has value in terms of playing vertically up the seam, but Dalton Schultz was just, in terms of his ability to block and also be a good receiving option. He did have the sort of, I wouldn't call it a drop. He got blown up by the Eagles' backup safety there, who came in for Kayvon Wallace, or whatever his name is. But besides that, Schultz has been really good for this Cowboys offense, both as a blocker and as an extra receiving option. And obviously there was the Ring of Honor, or not the Ring of Honor, the Cowboys legends Jimmy Johnson, Cliff Harris, and Drew Pearson receiving their Hall of Fame rings from Jerry Jones at halftime. This is a sweet night all around. But now I'm going to dedicate these next 10 minutes or so to talk about the Cowboys' awesome defense. Now, obviously, look, there were a lot of empty yards by Jalen Hurts. He finished with 326 yards, 2 touchdowns, but 2 interceptions. Trayvon Diggs, Anthony Brown. Trayvon Diggs now has an interception in each of the 3 games this year. I believe now he has 7 for his career. I am still of the belief that the Cowboys should have signed Byron Jones and not paid Jalen Smith, who also played a really good game tonight. But to me, Trayvon Diggs is a defensive back and defensive back in general, but specifically a corner that the Cowboys have been missing for maybe since Terrence Newman back in the heyday of, Terrence Newman. I mean, in 2014, they had a lot of interceptions, mostly by linebackers, but from a defensive back standpoint, the Cowboys corners, safeties, just between Trayvon Diggs and Anthony Brown today, Javon Curse, who played another really good game, flashed quite often in this game as well after an amazing game against the Chargers last week. And then also, Trayvon Diggs with it was Trayvon Diggs with a pick, and then Damontae Kazee with an interception last weekend in week 1, or the forced fumble in week 1. This defense, even though they give up yards, like that's why it drives me nuts when people are saying, the Cowboys give up over 300 yards passing per game, and the Eagles have whatever many yards rushing per game. It's 3 weeks into the season. We're 3 weeks into the season, and you got teams like the Broncos who are 3-0 after playing the Jets and the who else did they play? Like just 2 other awful teams. Is it the Texans? Broncos. Who they play again? I'm blanking. Jaguars and who was it? Pull it up right here. Just blanking right here. Who'd they open against? Oh, yeah, it was the Giants. So the Denver Broncos, they're 3-0 after beating the Giants and Broncos and Jags. It's week 3, guys. We can't possibly say, the Cowboys defense is this rank against the pass and this rank against the run. Context. They played against Tom Brady and Justin Herbert, and they just allowed a bunch of garbage yards to Jalen Hurts and the Eagles in a game that they dominated and took the ball away. Because the Cowboys, they lead the league in takeaways right now. 2 this week, 2 the week before, 3 the previous week, leading the league with 7 takeaways. This defense right now, and also I haven't even mentioned who they're missing. DeMarcus Lawrence, obviously Bradley Anae, Dorrance Armstrong, Carlos Watkins, Donovan Wilson. Am I forgetting anyone? Just a whole laundry list of guys, obviously, that are missing. And they're playing well enough to not only win against or make it close against really good teams, because, again, don't forget the Chargers went to Kansas City and beat the Chiefs. So they're playing exactly the way they need to play this defense right now. Because as long as the offense is as long as Dak is putting up 3 touchdown passes or over 300 yards passing, and the Cowboys are rushing for over 150 yards a game, this defense just has to play the way they're playing right now. And let's talk about Micah Parsons, obviously. I was going to save the best for last. Micah Parsons, Osa Odigizua. They got only 2 sacks on Jalen Hurts, but I just remember the one play by Osa Odigizua in I think the second quarter where Jalen Hurts, there was 2 plays. There was one by Micah Parsons and then one by Osa. The one by Osa was where Osa just beat his man off the ball. I don't know if it was Jason Kelsey, not Travis Kelsey, Jason Kelsey or the other whatever guard. They just completely beat off the ball and then just friggin' took Jalen Hurts' soul for his first NFL career, for his first career NFL sack. The Cowboys are said to be thin at defensive tackle in the middle of the line, and I think that's still valid because after Osa and Carlos Watkins, by the way, Brent Urban was also pretty decent tonight. But on a night like tonight where you have to dress, where Quinn Bohanna having to play meaningful snaps, and Chauncey Golston obviously got his first taste of NFL action. But The Cowboys defensive line, low key, like with Osa and with Micah Parsons playing on the edge, they have some playmaking ability or underrated playmaking ability. And by the way, Micah Parsons finished the game with 3 tackles, half the sack. That was the one where, again, and also there was the play where Micah Parsons just completely stonewalled Jalen Hurts with Brent Urban. Jalen Hurts tried doing a read option play with Miles Sanders and obviously held on to it. But then, boom, right in his face, Brent Urban and Micah Parsons, and he went absolutely nowhere. There's another play where Jalen Hurts tried to run away from Micah Parsons, but Micah Parsons said, it was a gain of like 3 or 4 instead of like a gain of 15. And again, the Eagles had some chunk plays. Dallas Goedert had a couple. He had 2 receptions for 66 yards. Jalen Hurts got his 35 yards rushing, but that's it. Nothing more. No touchdowns rushing. And he had the freak touchdown pass to, who was it? Greg Ward. So yeah, there were some plays that Hurts made, but ultimately the Cowboys defense just annihilated the Eagles. And just, I think, what were they, like 5 for 12 on third downs? Obviously the 2 interceptions. And then of course the pick 6 by Trayvon Diggs. Like I said, just Trayvon Diggs is becoming that guy in the Cowboys secondary. And even Anthony Brown got the pick. I mean, sure, he whiffed on a tackle on Devontae Smith, but this defense is just playing the way they need to be playing for the Cowboys to win. As long as the offense keeps doing what they do. Eagles 4 for 12, by the way, on third downs, 0 for 2 on fourth down efficiency. Yeah, honestly, go Cowboys. How about them Cowboys? And it's pretty much it. Fly, Eagles, fly the heck out of Dallas and back home. And again, Nick Sirianni, take your shirts and your 5 core, whatever principles, and just, see you in week 18. I just remember in week 1 where the Eagles were crowned as like potentially, and I was honestly, I kind of bought into that. I didn't think the Eagles were going to win the division, but they put themselves back in the mix with that win against the Falcons. But then we quickly realized who the Falcons are. And when the Eagles faced the Niners last week, we saw who they really are. And tonight we saw who they really, really are. And that's trash. Just like Orlando Scandrick tweeted earlier today, who you got? Cowboys are trash. Obviously the Cowboys. And the Cowboys, again, had to overcome some of the officiating, again, with the touchdown wiped off. And low-key, if Anthony Brown intercepts that and falls and is deemed or is ruled as falling into the end zone and not, down at the 1, if that was a touchback, then that initial touchdown doesn't count for the Eagles. So again, this Cowboys defense has only given up 3 touchdowns through the last 2 weeks. And then obviously they played Tom Brady and the Bucs in week 1. But through the last 2 weeks, they've only allowed 3 touchdowns, 1 garbage time. So, and they played Justin Herbert last week, keep in mind. So yeah, this is a good night. And obviously, not to mention the fact that the Habs beat the Leafs in preseason action. So yeah, honestly, it's been a great night. I'm happy. But again, it's only week 3. Got the Carolina Panthers, who are 3-0 also, by the way. But look at who they played. Houston. Saints, that's a big win because the Saints are still good. And Panthers beat who they beat in week 1 again. Jets, obviously. So yeah, there you go. Kind of an empty 3-0 as well, but still, they're playing as well as they could be playing. So it's going to be tough for the Cowboys next week, but it's exciting. Honestly, I'm trying to think. One more thing to mention. Mike McCarthy. Okay. Mike McCarthy's clock mismanagement at the end of the first half, where it's like the Eagles were at 3rd and 21 with like a minute plus left in the half. Take a timeout there, Mike McCarthy. I kind of understand why he didn't, because maybe they didn't want to run. They didn't want to risk running more plays than they had to. I don't know. Or they figured that worst case, if the Eagles come down and come back and get a touchdown, first play of the second half, that they have enough on offense to score points and maybe not risk giving up, like turning the ball over. I don't know. I'm just trying to put myself in the mental. I'm just trying to put myself in Mike McCarthy's brain. I mean, on fourth down, yeah, maybe the Eagles could have gone for it on 4th and 5. That I understand, but on 3rd and 21, call a timeout. And I just can't understand. Like, I'm trying to make sense of why Mike McCarthy didn't call a timeout, but I got nothing. So, yeah, Mike McCarthy's game management has to be better. But it was good enough to win tonight, and it was good enough to win last week. So, call it luck, maybe, but it's working. And this team is honestly just, I feel as good about this team as I felt probably since the beginning of the 2019 season, which was, as we kind of know, was pretty empty. But Cowboys could beat Carolina. I think they could go into Foxborough, New England, and beat Mac Jones. I think they could go into Minnesota and beat Kirk Cousins and the Vikings. I think they could beat the Denver Broncos at home. I think they could beat the Atlanta Falcons at home. And guess what? I think they could beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Chargers could. Obviously, anything can happen on any given Sunday, blah, 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 but all the more reason. But anyway, yeah, one game at a time, and let's focus on every time the Cowboys beat the Eagles is worth celebrating. And on Monday Night Football, first game back for Dak at AT&T Stadium for Dak since the injury. First game at AT&T Stadium with over 90,000 fans since the 2019 season. Chef's kiss, or chef's kiss, like that. This has been a Liker at the Mike Live Cowboys postgame show. As usual, if you enjoy my commentary, give me a big thumbs up on this video. Subscribe to my channel. Give me a follow at Mike Langer on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, at Mike Langer for all three. And as usual, thank you so much for joining in on this Langer at the Mike Cowboys postgame show. Almost said Habs there because they beat the Leafs. We'll be doing those during the regular season. But thank you so much for joining. I look forward to seeing you again next time. Go Cowboys.